Welcome back to SNG. If it's the first time you've ever watched us, we appreciate having you, man. We are working on wrenching a bike back on the 61. We're starting to get to the fun stuff now. Now we're starting to put everything back together. It's starting to take shape. I'll show you a couple things I'm doing, talk a little bit about the hardware, talk a little bit about the Speedo, talk a little bit about the little parts that I found and was able to find, and all that other good stuff. So without any more rambling, check out some of this stuff. All right, so here's the FL. Headlight bezel on, I showed that before. I've got a mirror on, and check this out. Well, we'll get to the Speedo here in a second, but this cover we're getting ready to put on, and some of this stuff has original hardware, which is cool, and I have a video about some hardware. But you know, for instance, these, although that is a period correct fastener from Harley, which is the only one of these four that are actually period correct. This type of a bolt was not in here. That was actually a Phillips head. So as I find things that aren't correct, I make a list, I look them up in the parts manual, and what you don't want to do is buy these $2, $3, $4, $6, depending on what it is, price varies, hardware, because they do repo stuff that looks pretty good. You can get it Parkerized, you can get it cadmium plated, whatever your bike came with. But shipping is what's going to kill you. So I get a big list of hardware that I need. And I'm not trying to put this thing back, as I've said before, to a points bike or anything like this. This is a rider. But if I can spend a couple bucks and get the right stuff on, I will do that. One of the other things I did is, let me not get sidetracked. So these guys right here that hold these down were Phillips. They were self-tapping Phillips, and they've been wallowed out. And here's the spring. That's the OEM spring that goes on there that holds your cable. I picked up some, and I'll pick up a bunch of Ace Hardware stuff. It's cheap. You can get hardware for 20 cents. It gets me by until I get, I feel like, picking up some of the proper stuff, if I even do that. So I'll grab some hardware. This happens to be what I'm going to use, and this is a quarter 24 fine thread, which is I think quarter 20 went in here, but it's been wallowed out, and I was able to get the fine thread to actually bite against some of the stuff that was left. So here's what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to tell you, is when I bought these, you can hear the rain in the background. It's warmer weather coming in. These are, probably galvanized, I'd say, maybe. But anyhow, if you take a little bit of heat and you watch and you just heat the end up, not enough to make them turn blue, but enough that you can watch the galvanized coating all of a sudden just turn gray like that. When you put these newer pieces in, I mean, that looks a hell of a lot better than a big shiny stainless steel fastener. It looks more period correct, even though, so if I am going to use new stuff, I try to make it look old, similar to what I did this mirror. That was a shiny chromed mirror, and I sanded it all down, and if I spray a little bit of salt water on there and let it sit, I'll get a little bit of rust happening, which will match this bike better. So I'm doing some stuff like that. But anyhow, I thought I'd show you what I'm doing to some of these pieces, parts, to make them look a little better. And I'll show you. I'll do a little piece just for shits and giggles. Let me put this on a stand, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not, but this is a lock washer. It's externally tabbed. If you've got those little tabs on the inside, it's called an internally tabbed lock washer. Pretty popular on some of these older bikes and things. But I'm going to get a little bit of heat. And if you just watch the color change, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can get it in focus. All right, let's see what happens. Here it just changed color. And it's before it turns all blue. And I have the tip to where it'll still be the same color. And you'll see how, where I was holding it, the difference. All right, and that might be some anal stuff, but you know what? It takes a couple seconds, and I can tell the difference between something that there it is. So there you go. That'll look a little bit better than having a big shiny new washer on there. So I'm doing some stuff like that. So with that, we'll come back and start to concentrate on some other things here. Let me pull this off of here. Some of the other things that I picked up that I didn't talk about on the last roundabout is this indicator lamp. These are indicator lamps for your turn signals. You've got one on each side. They have a green bezel, green lens. I was able to buy a whole light for a whole vintage light for as cheap as I could buy a repop green lens. So I was able to pick those up. I did put a tad bit of silicone on these fine threads when I screwed it in, just to keep it from backing out. That way I can still get it out. It's not like Loctited in there, because I won't be able to heat it up to get it out. So that's that. What I'm mostly excited about is the Speedo. I'm just getting ready to tighten that up. I just pushed. There is an indicator. This is there's the indicator light right here that I pushed up in, and I'm going to set that there, and we'll get this bolted down, and then I'll fit that Speedo cover over top and see, you know, what it looks like and how close I am to all of these wires. Some of the times you'll have to shim these to get them up a little bit. This does not call for a shim, at least in the book, but we'll see what happens. I'll show you that when I get that on, once I get everything tightened up. And we'll be back here in just a second. All right, so let's go back to these screws that I took from galvanized to kind of a gray now that they're in. And you can just see the difference. I mean, that, you know, although it's not right, it looks like it's right. It's not shiny. It matches the bike. So those are complete. And check this out. I'm absolutely stoked. If you missed the video where this was completely crushed, glass was broke, needle was smashed, the actual cover was bent really bad, and to see it now, Jonesy, my fat bastard buddy Jones, beat that out for me. That's all set and really nice. Check it out. Gen light works, oil light works, neutral light works. You can't see it, but if I do this, and then I turn on the other light, I doubt that you can see that, but there it is. There's the backlight is working. Headlights are working. Tail lights are working. I do not have blinkers working on this, but man, that's cool as hell. Hey, as far as Speedo, Texas Speedometer Services is who did this. Reed is his first name. He's always over at Wasion. So if you ever need one of those done, look him up. He was absolutely phenomenal. I sent that to him. He put new glass in it. He calibrated it, made sure everything was okay, left the mileage that was on it. I do not think that that's the original mileage of the bike. That or somebody just rode it like they stole it. But I wanted to keep it. I wasn't going to reset it or anything. That's a metal needle. He straightened the metal needle because it was all bent and did a wonderful job doing that. I didn't want anything repainted. I wanted it to look, the way the bike does. But I dropped it off to him in Wasion. He took my number and he called me like in a week and said, hey, it's going to be boom. And it was about $350. $300, I think, don't quote me. Talk to him. But man, it was right where he said it was going to be. He called me up and said, hey, what do you want me to do to it? And he did it. He shipped it back within a week. So I'd say 2 to 2.5 weeks, I had this back in my hands, looking like it does now. He fixed the bucket. It's got all the original parts, except a couple internal pieces he had to change. And he sent a little bill inside and said, hey, when you get it, send me a check. So that's the type of dude he is. He does great work. So, if you're in need of any Speedo work, man, Texas Speedometer Services is the way to go. But anyhow, one last thing now is I think I'm going to get into. I'm pretty sure I'll probably put the carb on now. It'll be easier for me to put the carb on now and all of this linkage and stuff prior to putting the tanks on. So that's probably my next job. Once I get the carb on, once I get the tanks on and do the gas lines, we'll yank it off the table and jack it up and drop the wheels and tires, make sure that brakes are good. Grease bearings, check bearings, all that stuff, and this thing will be ready to roll. So, appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. If you get a chance, punch that monkey in the throat. Might move my hand. Punch that monkey in the throat. Smash that butterfly bell. Whatever you have to do. And remember, if you ride them, wrench them, but only if you want to. See ya. Sleep well.